What's up? This is Shan and this is Cozy Womb. And this is episode, I want to say 54. Throwing things I asked you to bring me. Are your kids throwing things to you instead of bringing them to you? Well, I'm going through that with a 4-year-old. And this is how I combat it. That's what we're talking about. This is Cozy Womb Podcast. We talk about kids, surviving your kids, parenting, and if you're not a parent, what to expect. Let's get into this because I will not take any more throwing things at me. So growing up, I grew up in a house with my brothers. I was the only girl and I was the youngest. And my mom, she didn't believe in disciplining in no sort of way. So it's basically like I grew up in a house that was free reign, let alone my house was like the house, like the kids' house on the block of every neighborhood always. My mom loved kids, but I never felt like she watched kids. She just always wanted to be in the essence of kids. So I never, growing up, got to experience my house as my house and my space. I was always sharing it with kids she was babysitting, kids down the street, kids of kids that just wanted to be over my house. So I love locks on my doors. I love secluding myself. But I got to witness, my brothers and other kids, do things. And the one thing I always hated that I said I would never accept from my kid is you throwing something at me when I asked you to bring it to me. So now, fast forward that I have 2 kids and my 4-year-old, I'll go send her for something and she'll playfully say, no, I don't want to get it. And I'll be like, Anya, go get me the brush so I can comb, or brush Ari's hair. Okay. But if I get it, then no, there's no terms on this. Go get me the brush before I make you go get me the brush. And also brush your sister's hair and let you feel the brush also. Like, why do I have to threaten you to bring me something I'm asking you to bring me? I hate it. And, she'll come close enough to toss it to me. And I'll look at her. I don't bend down and pick it up. I'll look at her and I'll be like, Anya, come pick up this, whatever it is that I asked for, and put it in my hand before I slap you with it. And she'd be like, but I gave it to you. No, you threw it at me. And I'm not your friend. I'm not your size. I'm your mom. And I need you to hand it to me. That's rude. And I have to tell her that's rude. So when she's at school or when she's in the presence of another adult and she thinks it's okay to throw something at them that they asked for, she knows that that's her being rude. And so she's not surprised. Because a lot of, how your kids react to other people incorrectly when they're being rude is because you don't tell them that they're being rude, so they think what they're doing is the right thing to do. And that's incorrect. And we all, as parents, as caregivers, as aunts and uncles, whatever, need to be able to tell a child when they're being rude if they're honestly being rude. So I don't let her throw things at me. You shouldn't let any child throw anything at you. I don't care how close y'all are to each other. If you ask them to bring you something, they should bring you something. Like, I don't understand that. My brothers did that to my mom. And my mom, she never said anything about it. And I hated that. And I'm just like, yo, why don't you, stand up for yourself and tell them no. Bring it to me. She just felt like, it's too much work to tell them, that there's a right way to do something. So they just never did it. And so, my 3 older brothers, they were primarily raised more so from when they were like 7 and up till teenagers with my grandmother in Jamaica. So my youngest brother and were raised primarily by my mom, so she was a softie. So I'm sure a lot of what my youngest brother got away with compared to like my older brothers was like, dog, like, what is that? But you know, when you have Islander relatives and they look at you know, the relatives that they have that are born in the United States, they call it foreign. They think that, you know, we just get away with murder and, you know, we're allowed to be disrespectful and get away with a lot of things that, you know, they weren't allowed to get away with when they were growing up. Some of it is true, but at the same time, not every parent was like my mom. My mom just, you know, she was one of 13 and she was the smallest and the youngest, and she just got disciplined to like the 1001 power. Sorry, I was cut off. Someone called me for an interview. It's a good thing. But yeah, so because she was disciplined in a more strict way, she became like that anti-discipline type parent. And I believe in discipline, and I feel like when it comes to any child, any age, throwing something at you that you ask them to bring you, you need to make them pick it up and bring it to you. And you need to call them out when they throw something. So, you know, now, you know, Anya's understanding that, hey, she's not about to, like, if I throw this at her, I might as well bring it to her. And I don't like for anybody to, unless my hands are full, if you bring me something, put it in my hand. Don't put it on the table. Don't put it close to me. Bring it to me. So I don't care how old your child is, whether they're 4, 7, 13, whatever. If you ask them to bring something to you, do not accept them throwing something at you, because that's rude. And they're going to feel like, to some degree, you're beneath them, even though you're a parent. You're going to accept, you know, how they give you things, how they present things to you, when it shouldn't be that way. Put it in my hands before I have to put my hands on you. Okay? We are not, as parents, as adults, accepting kids throwing anything at us. Okay? Please. I don't want to see it in public. I don't want to see, you know, you telling them to. She does it a lot. If I tell her to share something with her sister, like, you know, let's say there's 10 cars they could play with out of all the toys in the house, and Anya will line up all 10 cars and expect Ari not one of them. And I'll tell her to give her sister one, and she'll like toss the toy across the room. I'm just like, my G, why are you being so rude? Pick up the toy and give it to her, and now you have removed yourself from the situation so you could go to your room, and Arya could sit out here and play with all 10 cars. You have to do that when they're at home, because when they embarrass you in public because you haven't set them straight at home, you're going to have to eat that. And that's that behavior that you didn't nip in the bud because for whatever reason you chose not to. Okay? So, I'm just, you know, minding my business on a Monday. It heated up out here. I got a Champion sweatshirt on and I'm sweet. And I gotta go to the old house. I keep forgetting little things at the old house. So I've been going back there to find things that I forgot. I got this little fancy toilet light. When you flip the lid and it's a motion detect. And it gives you like these cute little pictures in the toilet and the girls like it. So I need to go get it. But anyway, this is Shan. This is Cozy Womb. Don't be letting your kids throw stuff at you because that's rude. Set them straight at home before somebody else has to set them straight. That's all I'm saying. Be great out here. Till next time. Deuces.